Hi everyone, I'm JD from Willowbound Journals. Welcome back to my channel. I am a journaler, maker of journals and teacher of journaling courses. And in this video, I'm just going to be doing some journaling in my Bible. This is called the Inspire Bible, the Bible for Creative Journaling. So you can see there's lots of pictures that you can color in and beautiful scriptures that are highlighted in the margins, but there's also, what I really love, the writing space down the side of most of the pages. So I'm using this to annotate different passages, and you can see I'm using a highlighter as well, and I'm dating each time that I highlight a passage, and then just writing a bit about why I highlighted it, basically, how it's speaking to me, how it's challenging me, how I want to apply it in my life, that kind of thing. And it's just a way for me to record my journey with God. And this year, in 2022, one of my aims or goals is to read the Bible from cover to cover and to journal that creative journey as I journal in my junk journal, but also journal in this Bible. So for some of the passages that I highlight, there's not really anything huge that grabs me that I want to document in my junk journal in a creative visual way, but I still want to highlight the passages that are speaking to me and write a little bit about how they're speaking to me. So what I'm doing here in this session is just going through the chapters that I've read so far this year, and I'm just going to highlight anything that jumps out at me, and then writing about how it's speaking to me at this time. So I'll just kind of take you through these few chapters in Genesis that I've been looking at, and hope that it's encouraging and maybe gives you something to think about, maybe some prompts for your own journaling. The first one that I highlighted here was Genesis 14 verses 23 to 24, where it says, "I will not take so much as a single thread or sandal thong from what belongs to you. Otherwise you might say, I am the one who made Abraham rich. I request that you give a fair share of the goods to my allies." So I love what this passage talks about, fairness, and how that we can be fair, one, because it's a good thing, but also because we can know and trust that God will look after us and he will provide for us. He knows our every need and he can provide for our every need. So that means we don't need to take that on ourselves in terms of being greedy or hoarding or being unfair or cheating, for example, because of, I think, like, a lot of the motivation for example, cheating or being unfair is because we think we're not going to get it any other way, if that makes sense. We don't trust that God will provide it. So this just is a good reminder that whatever your needs are, whether it's material, physical, emotional, or financial, that God sees us, he knows our needs, and he will meet our needs and provide for our needs. We don't have to cheat people. We don't have to hold on to things tightly, that kind of thing, and to be fair whenever we're dealing with people, to be just and fair, because not just to uphold their worth and their dignity, but because we know ourselves that God's got us, he will look after us, and he's the one who will provide for us. And then I just wrote on the other side of the page how we can doubt God's promises, and we can doubt that he will do what he says he'll say he'll do, but we can trust that he is faithful, and even when it takes a long time, and even when it seems impossible in the natural, that if he says he's going to do something, he will. And the whole story of Abraham and Sarah, that's why I didn't want to highlight anything necessarily in particular, because the whole story is just this long story of patience, or impatience really, but just it takes a long time for God's promises to be met, and you can see their kind of journey of questioning, of doubting, of laughing, and of meddling, taking things into their own hands, and for us to know, hey, they're human too, and we're human, and sometimes we might get impatient, sometimes we might get frustrated, sometimes we might meddle and take things into our own hands, but to always come back to, at the end of the day, where is our trust, and knowing that God will do what he says he will do. And it might take a long time and it might not look like it in the natural, but he can do the impossible. So that's a theme that keeps coming up later on as well. So whatever promises that you have, hold on to those, and anytime that you're tempted to laugh at them or get frustrated or impatient or meddle, just go back to, hang on, he's trustworthy. He will do what he says he will do in his perfect timing. And then over here on this page, I have just highlighted Genesis 16 verse 13. You are the God who sees me. And yeah, I quite like the story of Hagar in terms of connecting with her situation, in terms of feeling abandoned and just the struggle and being sent away and running away, that things get so bad, first of all, that she runs away, and in the second case, she's actually sent away, and that just would feel so horrible. And I can connect with those feelings of just feelings of feeling left out, feeling abandoned, and because I came from a background of being bullied or teased and alienated in my school days, and having that feeling of being abandoned by my friends. So I kind of connect with Hagar in that real experiential way. Even though our situations aren't the same, we can still connect with different people in the Bible, based on the feelings they go through and struggles they go through. And I love that we can find comfort in knowing that other people in the Bible have felt this way, and that God sees them. He sees the struggle and he's with you in the struggle. If you're feeling left out, if you're feeling abandoned, if you're feeling like you're being treated harshly, know that he sees you in that, and he's with you, and he will look after you, he will guide you, and he will bless you. And then I highlighted Genesis 17, chapter 17 verse 5, where God changes the names of Abraham to Abraham and Sarai to Sarah. And so that just always makes me think about my own names and to claim the meanings of my names. This might not be relevant to everyone, but to me, I definitely feel like my names that were given to me were very specific. My name means grace and hope, and my middle name means wanted. So I was adopted when I was 4 months old, and my parents gave me the middle name Desiree, because they wanted me to know that I was wanted. Desiree means desired or wanted in French. So I definitely claim these names. I want to be grace-filled and give grace. I want to be hope-filled and give hope. And I want to let people know that they are wanted too. No matter what your situation is, you are wanted. And then I did some research and found out that my name can also mean silver and bright and shining, lovable, wished and desired as well. So I'm like, all right, I want to claim these names, these God-given names, and live these out as my identity, because you guys know my backstory as well, of how I grew up feeling unlovable, not in my family or anything. I always knew my family loved me, but still you can have this deep-seated thing where you feel unlovable, even when the evidence is contrary to that. And so to know that my name means lovable is like, oh wow, I only recently discovered that. So yeah, maybe you want to look up what your names mean and go further than just the initial meaning, because that's when I found out, oh, there's these other meanings in other languages and root meanings of words and things like that. It's like, oh wow. And if you find anything helpful there, claim it. If not, don't worry, just get rid of it. Take what's good and leave anything else. And then I highlighted Genesis 18 verse 14, is anything too hard for the Lord? And that goes along with what I was saying before about how things might look impossible to our eyes in the natural, in the physical, but God can do the impossible. He is a God of the impossible. And I have a bit of a symbol, a story for that. I thought it was impossible for me to learn how to solve a Rubik's Cube. It just looks like quantum physics to me. Like I would try to do it, but it was just too complicated. But a friend of mine, he knew how to solve a Rubik's Cube, and he taught me how to do it within 2 days. And I was like, oh my goodness, I had no idea this was a thing that I could do. I thought my brain wouldn't be able to remember all the steps. I didn't think my brain could even comprehend what I was doing or seeing with the Rubik's Cube. But yeah, he taught me in 2 days, and I was just blown away. And that became a huge symbolic story for me about how God can do the impossible. Like, I literally did not think I could do it. But he showed me, well, yes, you can. And it just kind of made me go, well, what else do I think I can't do that God says with me it is possible? He might be calling you to do something and you're just like, no way, I don't have the skills for that, or I'm not qualified for that. But he says, no, I'm going to equip you. I'll teach you. I'll show you how to do it. He will equip you to do whatever it is you're called to do. Nothing is too hard for him. And then another passage that I highlighted was Genesis 20, verses 14 to 16, where Abimelech gave Abraham like sheep and goats and cattle and money and riches, and just kept blessing him. And this really challenged me in 2014, because I always thought riches or money was a bad thing. I always wanted to be poor, not destitute, but poor, because I thought money was a bad thing. But this passage really challenged me, because I was like, wow, at every single turn, God just kept blessing Abraham with riches, and it showed me that we are blessed to be a blessing, and one of the way we can do that is with our finances. So the more we are given, the more we can give to others. And so I took that on board, and the more I'm given, the more I hope to be able to give to others. So I hope you enjoyed that session, and I will see you in the next video. A big special thank you to all my patrons in December who supported me and Willow Bound Journals with the vision to bring light and love to the world through storytelling, journaling, and creativity and inspiration. You guys, without you, I could not do what I do full time, so thank you so much. You allow me to do videos and make journals and teach journaling courses, so know that you are having a huge impact on not only my life, but all the people who watch the videos, get one of my journals, or do one of my courses. If you would like to become a patron in January, the link will be down below in the description box. That gives you access to extra videos, printables, behind the scenes looks, personal updates, first access to my journals, and you'll be just supporting me, and I just can't thank you enough for that, helping my dream come true. May you journal your life, because your stories matter.